The first time my aunt offered to help me, I was 17, wearing a borrowed outfit at her daughter's birthday party, standing under a chandelier that probably cost more than my mother's small apartment. She wrapped her arm around my shoulder and said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Don't worry, Beta, I'll make something of you." Everyone clapped as if she'd done charity. That's how manipulation always begins, with kindness that smells slightly off. My Aunt Noreen was the kind of woman who moved through the world expecting obedience disguised as gratitude. She was elegant, commanding, and deadly polite. She paid my college fees after my father passed away, and in return she earned rights over my choices, my clothes, my voice. If I wore red lipstick, she called it desperate. If I spoke confidently, she called it pride. She told every relative she was saving me from turning into my mother, quiet, underachieving, poor. I thanked her publicly and cried privately. She never said be grateful. She just made me feel indebted every breath I took. By the time I turned 21, I worked in her real estate firm as her protégé, which was just code for underpaid labor sold as mentorship. I designed presentations, pitched clients, handled finances, but on paper she was the star. Every time I asked about promotion, she'd smile. "Patience, sweetheart. I'm building your future." My future, it seemed, was to stay small enough for her to feel large. Then came the trigger, the night that changed everything. We hosted a high-profile investors' dinner at a hotel ballroom. I designed the entire portfolio presentation that would seal her biggest deal yet. She arrived late, dripping in diamonds, and during the speech she looked straight at me, then said to the room, "This success is only possible because my team follows my vision completely." Then she presented the slides with my name removed. The applause was deafening. I clapped too, because humiliation sometimes needs camouflage. Everyone treated me like decoration. Later that night, she hugged me whispering, "That's what family does, we blend victories." That sentence replayed in my head like static for weeks. I stopped sleeping properly, but anger eventually turned into precision. For someone who believed I owed her everything, she had forgotten one simple thing. I had access to everything: files, transactions, proof of who really built her empire. I started gathering, quietly, no confrontation, no slips. I cloned her backup drive under the pretense of data safety. I copied every financial discrepancy, every client invoice signed by me but deposited under her account. I downloaded HR records showing my unpaid hours. For 3 months, I built a folder called Gratitude. Then I waited. Because revenge without strategy is just theater, and I wanted closure, not chaos. The moment arrived 2 weeks later when she called me into her office. Voice sugary, eyes sharp. "You're becoming too visible," she said. "Let me transfer you abroad for a while. Focus on smaller work." That translation meant exile. I smiled and said yes. In her mind, she'd won again. She even threw me a farewell dinner, inviting family, clients, and associates to boast about how generous she was sending me abroad to learn, but I had prepared something better than speeches. While everyone dined, I connected my laptop to the event projector to share a thank you video. Instead, the screen flashed open to a portfolio slideshow, signed contracts, digital timestamps, project author credits, all with my name. Each frame narrated itself. A minute later, came the bank statements, transactions showing commissions rerouted to her personal account. I watched the realization ripple across the room like a wave turning walls to mirrors. My aunt froze mid-smile. One cousin whispered, "That's her company?" Someone gasped. I ended the slideshow with one slide, her signature above my grafted labor with the line, "Every vision needs visibility." And then I unplugged the cable calmly, thanked everyone for attending, and walked out. By morning she called 32 times. I didn't answer. 2 days later, her investors demanded an audit. Within a week, her firm was suspended pending investigation. She tried to frame me for misuse of data until legal proof traced the trail back to her. People she once commanded now avoided her to save themselves. She lost contracts, dignity, and the luxury of pretending kindness was leadership. Meanwhile, I moved cities and registered my own consultancy. The same clients she'd belittled me over came knocking quietly, offering partnerships. I didn't gloat. I just worked precisely, professionally, and independently. Months passed before I saw her again. A family wedding. She avoided me the whole evening until we met accidentally near the hallway mirror. She looked smaller somehow. A queen without her crown. She studied me through the reflection and said softly, "You destroyed everything." I replied just as softly, "I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped protecting your illusion." We stood there for a moment, both silent, both knowing power doesn't need volume. Then I walked away without turning back. These days, whenever people call me lucky, I laugh quietly. Luck didn't do this, strategy did. I let her think she won so she'd reveal every weakness I needed to watch. That's how control collapses through arrogance. My aunt taught me everything about power, just not the lesson she wanted to teach. Real strength isn't about dominating others. It's about building yourself so completely that no one can move you again. So if you've ever been guilt-trapped by someone who dresses control as care, remember this. Gratitude should never cost your voice. Sometimes silence is not surrender, it's observation. Wait, let them think they're winning. Then, when truth finally glows under the light of proof, watch their empire melt like sugar in rain. If you enjoyed my story, please like and subscribe. And never forget, dignity whispered is louder than control screamed.